Maybe I should take a few swings. Nah, I'd probably break it.
Hello everybody, welcome back to 2DS Studios. I'm 2DS, and I'm really happy to announce that we're finally back with a video I've wanted to make for a while about Spider-Man Miles Morales. Last time we talked about this game, we talked about the Tinkerer, who is unfortunately the worst villain in the game. But now we're going to be going from the worst villain to the best villain, because we're going to be talking about the Prowler. Prowler is such an interesting villain to me because not enough people talk about him, and how everything that the Tinkerer did wrong, he actually ends up doing right in this game. And I think it's time that someone finally talks about him. Genki creates a new app to help Miles with Spider-Man stuff called the Friendly Neighborhood app, and the first person to use it is Aaron Davis, who is Miles' uncle. Aaron Davis is the brother to Jeff Davis, who is Miles' father, and Miles hasn't seen Aaron in a really long time, and he doesn't know that Miles is Spider-Man yet. But Miles swings over and helps Aaron with his subway situation. It turns out that the Tinkerer's gang, the Underground, were messing with the signal. So Miles fixes the signal and beats up some underground goons. So once you take care of them, you head back to the subway station, you stop them from bombing the place, and afterwards, Aaron gives us a little gift.
You okay, Mr. Davis?
Yeah, thanks to you. Oh, hey, here you go. 1 year unlimited subway pass.
Thanks.
Did I get the name right?
How did you...
Ah, he figured it out!
Okay, gotta go.
Hold up, Miles. I kinda suspected when I saw the news yesterday. Watching your moves on those escape cons, juking guys left and right. Could've sworn I was back at the park playing pickup with you and your dad. You were quick then. A lot quicker now. Don't worry, I won't tell your mom.
Promise?
Promise. Look at you. If your dad could see you now...
He'd probably freak out.
He'd definitely freak out. So you taking over for the other Spider-Man?
Nah, like I said, he's just on vacation.
Right. And he left you in charge.
Yeah.
A lot of responsibility for a kid your age.
I can handle it.
Hope so. But listen, you get in over your head, you give me a call. I'm here for you. Got it?
Got it. Thanks, Unc.
Miles tells his mom Rio about how he saw Uncle Aaron at the subway station, and Rio tells Miles that he doesn't want Miles around Aaron.
But you and Dad never told me why I wasn't allowed to see him anymore. He used to come by our place all the time.
So Aaron was apparently cut out of the family for reasons that we don't know of for now. But on a completely unrelated note, before he meets Aaron again during the Christmas dinner scene, while you're waiting for Finn to arrive, Miles goes to find some background music, and in between the records you can find a case file featuring the Prowler. Wonder who that guy is. He also finds an old record that used to belong to Uncle Aaron, which hints at their strained relationship.
I think this was Uncle Aaron's. Dad never played it, but he also never got rid of it.
Fast forward to a bit later in the story, Miles is looking for the Tinkerer and for any evidence or leads to figure out what their plan is. And after going into Rick's old workshop and finding some videos of Finn talking about their plan to expose Roxxon, he decides to go to the Roxxon building to retrieve Finn's phone. And that's when he's stopped by an interesting guest.
Hey, kid.
What's so funny?
Damn, Miles. For a skinny-ass kid, you hit hard.
Uncle Aaron? You're the Prowler?
Aaron's done some work with Roxxon in the past and tries to convince Miles to leave, but Miles says that he has to stay to get what he came for, and begrudgingly, he decides to help him.
You picked the wrong place to break into.
I'm not leaving till I find what I came for.
Listen, I did some work for Roxxon a while back. You don't want to mess with these guys. If we get caught in here...
Then help me.
Stubborn as your father. Alright, but we do this my way. I know a place I can access a security terminal.
And he makes it clear that the only way we can do this is by being very stealthy. And he does a really good job because he helps us sneak into the security systems by hacking them. And he also gives us a new type of web gadget called remote mines. I really love using these during the stealth sections. You pick a spot, you place it, wait till the enemies get real close, and
got knocked the out, man!
Once Miles gets the phone and gets to see how Rick died, trying to stop the new form reactor, he decides that he has to suck in the new form so he can save the city.
Why? You got your phone. Now let's leave.
That reactor killed my friend. It needs to be shut down. Permanently. I need your help, Unc. Please.
Okay. Stand back.
Thanks, Unc. Just like the generator outside! Only huge!
What are you doing?
Once Miles sucks in on the new form, it's too much for him to handle and he lets it all out, resulting in his first Chaos Blast from Shadow the Hedgehog.
I can't...
Mom, talk to me, kid. You alright?
I feel like I just got dropped out of a plane.
After this, the Roxxon guards catch on to them and they try to escape. And after beating up some Roxxon guards and breaking a hole in the wall, they're able to escape through the subway tunnel. Which then leads to one of my favorite cutscenes in the game.
You need to lay low. Don't trust anybody and don't take off that mask. Wait till Roxxon finds a better target.
I can't lay low. I still need to find Finn.
Your friend's the Tinkerer. No wonder you care so much about this.
It's not just that. Protecting New York is my job.
Use Finn. Tell her you want to join the underground.
You just told me don't take off the mask.
Don't tell her you're Spider-Man. Go to her as a friend.
No, she's too smart for that.
You'd be surprised. People get stupid when they care about someone. Like you're being stupid now.
If I told her the truth...
I told your dad the truth. Thought he'd have my back. Hoped he would. Be my brother. Instead, he cut me out. If I kept my mouth shut, maybe I'd still have a family. You know what you have to do.
The family drama's getting real messy now. Miles takes his uncle's advice and decides to talk to Finn into getting into the underground to get more intel, which helps Miles put a stop to her plan and also helps Prowler since he's also working for Roxxon. And if you've seen the Tinker video, you know how well this goes for Miles and Finn.
My back! He needs some milk!
And after all that, plus having to reveal his secret identity so Finn didn't kill him, and all the other drama between them and Finn that I go over in my Tinkerer video, yeah, it's safe to say that the drama is getting really messy by now, and Miles vents to Aaron about it. Miles wants to try and smooth things over with Finn and talks to Prowler about it, and Prowler wants to watch his back because they're family, and there are no ulterior motives.
I know what to do about Finn. I gotta see her. Try to talk her out of all this.
In person? Where?
Trinity Church. Tomorrow night. Why so interested?
Because you got a target on your back the size of Jersey.
You don't have to protect me.
Someone should.
Right. Thanks, Unc.
Trinity Church. Remember, Tinker is yours, but leave the boy alone.
The next day, we cut to Finn and Miles at Trinity Church, and they have their big falling out as Miles tries to smooth things out. And as Miles tries to talk to his best friend turned hypocritical terrorist, Rhino jumps out of a Roxxon helicopter and kidnaps them, taking them into a cell in Roxxon's lab. After Miles almost dies and releases another Chaos Blast, him and Finn escape and through the vents they see Roxxon Man, I forgot his name, Krieger, yeah, alright. They see Krieger and Prowler talking about how he was supposed to leave Miles out of it, but Krieger broke the deal. And you see that Aaron was truly just using Miles to get closer to Tinkerer, which unintentionally, on Aaron's part at least, results in him almost getting beaten to death. So yeah, you know, probably not the best look for you, Unc. Although Roxxon almost killing his nephew does give him a slight change of heart. until Krieger blackmails him.
Seen things. New form making people sick. What you did to Rick Mason. If I went public...
Yeah, but you won't. Here's the deal. You're a wanted thief. Plus all the jobs we've done together. But you'd be in the cell right next to mine. And we both know you're a little too self-serving for that.
You know it's bad when the Lex Luthor ripoff is calling you self-serving. After Miles explains to Finn that he betrayed him, Finn blames Miles for getting them kidnapped even though it wasn't his fault, blah blah blah, you know the rest.
And so do I.
They escape Roxxon, Finn almost beats him to death because he hasn't been going through that enough in this game. And just before you can swing to the final boss,
Sorry about this, nephew.
Aaron kidnaps us and puts us in a cell in an abandoned subway. And Miles is understandably upset by this.
Let Krieger and the Tinkerer kill each other. Go back to being Spider-Man when the heat dies down.
And what? Just hide down here? I don't get to pick and choose when I'm Spider-Man. I gotta stop Finn.
No, you gotta survive. I've been trying to teach you that, but you don't listen.
You want me to survive so bad? Why sell me out to Krieger?
Wasn't a sellout.
Yeah.
I'm serious. You were never supposed to get caught. Krieger broke our deal.
You want it back in the family, and that's the best you could do?
I saved your life.
By throwing him in a cell where he almost died, and if it wasn't for his electric powers he actually would have died.
You threw me in a cell!
To protect you.
Like this is protecting me?
Damn it, Miles. I'm not gonna lose you too.
Yeah, well, you already cut it pretty close, Unc. And this leads into the best boss fight in the game.
And I'm not gonna let people die just to save my skin. You underestimated me.
Throw yourself at enemies you can't beat. Know who else did that?
Don't say his name!
You want your mom to bury you too? I won't let you. I know I messed up. I let you down. We're family.
Family? That didn't stop you from lying to me, manipulating me, fighting me? Being family isn't enough anymore.
Doesn't have to be like this. You, me, hating each other? That's how it happened between me and your dad. I don't want to repeat that.
I don't either. But I can't be the person you want to turn me into. I can't turn my back when people need me. I have to be better than that.
Now that Prowler's taken care of, it's time to head to the final boss. For real this time. Miles tries to get the rest of Harlem evacuated before the bomb goes off, and just before another Roxxon guard shoots at Miles, Prowler swoops in to save the day, truly having a change of heart and helping the good guys in the end. And even Miles' mom Rio sees this.
Whoa. You've got more important things to do.
He's right. Go. We'll get people clear.
Fast forward till after we beat the final boss, Tinkerer seeing the error of her ways and sacrificing herself, even though it was unearned, and Simon Krieger going to jail. It's revealed that Prowler also exposed Krieger, doing the right thing in the end. But he's not completely off the hook. He still has to go to jail, but he does have a shortened sentence, thanks to him exposing Krieger in the end. And that's the end of Prowler's story, and it is safe to say that he is without a doubt the greatest villain in this entire game. How is it that out of all the 4 villains in this entire game, Prowler ends up being the best one? Well, there's a couple reasons, and we're gonna go over them now in the analysis. And a big part of this analysis is gonna be comparing him to the other villains, most notably the Tinkerer, since they have the most in common. 2 Spider-Man villains that are closely related to the person behind the mask, Miles, whose morally questionable actions contradict the hero's beliefs, But after fighting with Miles in big emotional battles, they redeem themselves and save the day in the end, whilst also having personas involving the color purple. And a big part of their origin stories is motivated from the loss of a loved one, and how their loss affected them. It's crazy how from a basic description, Prowler and Tinker are basically the exact same character, but with drastically different execution. And as I said in the intro, everything that the Tinkerer fails at, Prowler passes with flying colors. And one of the biggest reasons why is because Prowler is just a more organic character, and compared to Tinkerer, his inclusion in Miles Morales feels a lot less forced. Something I forgot to mention in my previous Tinkerer video is how Tinkerer actually differs from her comic counterpart. In the Spider-Man comics, Tinkerer is an old white guy that makes technology, because Peter doesn't have enough of those. I also learned that he was in Spider-Man Homecoming, and I literally completely forgot he was in that movie. That was literally my first exposure to Tinkerer, and I didn't even know who he was. And then with the Miles Morales game, they made Tinkerer, who was originally an old man named Phineas Mason, and made her a black teenager closer to Miles' age named Finn Mason. Plus her technology is like completely different. Tinker in this game has basically nothing to do with comic book Tinkerer aside from the name. Like, you could have told me that it was just an original character for this game and that wouldn't really change much in the grand scheme of things. Meanwhile, Prowler, specifically Aaron Davis Prowler, is a mainstay when it comes to Miles Morales' story, and he fits a lot more organically with the story because of that. And a big thing with that is how, with Jeff Davis being in the first game and his death, seeing how it affects not only Miles but also Prowler, knowing that they had a strained relationship before he passed away, you can really see how his death affected him, and how he wants to be there to protect Miles because he couldn't protect his brother. Like, even though things went bad between them, he still cares about them because they're family. And he shows that he does regret a lot of the stuff that he's done that causes the family to fall out. Intentionally or not, Prowler's story was set up in the first game, and I think that really went a long way, as opposed to Finn, where almost all of her dialogue and the scenes related to her are just exposition about and how close her and Miles were before she became evil. Finn's story relies so much on exposition and flashbacks for us to sympathize with her that it really hurts her in the long run, because the friendship between her and Miles is told to us rather than legitimately shown, and when it's shown in flashbacks it's ruined by future context, and also really bad pacing. And because Prowler actually has a somewhat good relationship with Miles as opposed to Tinkerer, his redemption arc is far more earned because you see more signs of him being a good guy, as opposed to Finn, where it's just a last minute 180 after being nothing but evil for like most of the game. Which brings me to Prowler's boss fight, and there's a reason why I call this the best fight in the game. Not only from a gameplay perspective, but also a story perspective. Everyone knows that the combat in the Spider-Man games is super fun, and that's no exception with this boss fight. One of the things I like about Prowler is how much he mirrors Miles, both in the story and in gameplay, especially with the similar designs of like their masks, especially with their abilities like turning invisible and their use of gadgets. You can tell that being a vigilante runs in Miles' family. But I also appreciate it from a story standpoint, because throughout the fight, you hear Miles and Aaron arguing about what's best for them. Miles arguing that he has to get out of there so he can save the city, and Prowler trying to keep him down there until everything dies down to keep him safe. Obviously, Miles is right in that he does have to save everyone else. Prowler knows how bad New Form is, and he knows that someone has to stop it. But he doesn't want to lose Miles like how he lost Jeff. Although it's kind of weird that in trying to protect Miles, he's beating the crap out of him in this boss fight. Yeah, despite trying to protect Miles as he says he does, he's also the reason he gets caught by Roxxon. I mean, sure, he told Krieger to leave Miles alone and didn't mean for him to get caught, but also, like, you've been working with Roxxon for how long now? Like, you know this is a shady company, why would you trust them? But I'm gonna give an extra point to Miles here, because unlike Finn, Miles actually holds him accountable for this stuff. I mentioned it before, but a big part of both Prowler and Tinker's origin stories is how they deal with the loss of their brothers. With Prowler, it's about how Aaron lost Jeff, and with Tinkerer, it's about how Finn lost Rick. And I feel like as the player who's played both the first game and this game, Jeff's death is a lot more effective than Rick, because we've actually gotten to know him from the first game before he died, and like, we experienced his loss in the first game. as opposed to Rick, where this is the first game he's ever been in, and he's only seen in flashbacks, so we don't really have a close connection to him. We just have like a vague memories from Miles and Finn. This is where the story for Finn relying so much on flashbacks really hurts her, because her story is less about memories that we've experienced with her. It's more like a Family Guy cutaway gag where they're like, hey Miles, remember when we won the science fair? And thankfully, Prowler and Miles' story, they don't rely on flashbacks as much, since we've already established Jeff's passing after the first game. Although, if you haven't played the first game, there is like a little recap when you start playing this game for the first time. So you're not completely out of the loop in terms of Miles' character. Alright, so we've gotten most of the positives done. I'm saving one for the very end. But I'm starting to sound like a glazer, so we gotta talk about the negatives. Starting with Prowlers Design, which is really mid. Like, they made such a generic design for this character. My first exposure to Prowler was Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and comparing how cool Prowler was in that movie to this, it is like the biggest downgrade. Like, there's barely any purple on his costume. It's like just all like gray military gear with some like green lines around it, and like some purple highlights with like the shoulder pads and knee pads and his arm gauntlets, but that's it. If it wasn't for the mask and logo, I would not even realize that this was Prowler. It's such a generic design. And we're about to talk about this next, but with the side missions, you unlock a new Prowler-themed Spider-Man costume called Purple Rain, and it looks so much cooler. Like, why couldn't Prowler wear something closer to this? If Spider-Man can swing around in spandex, why can't he? Especially since the point of Prowler in this story is that he's like kind of similar to Miles. I think that him having a more Spider-Man-esque suit would have really helped. That's something I always liked about Prowler's design, is how it like kind of mirrored Spider-Man a little bit. The design is basically like giving Spider-Man an evil twin brother. Speaking of which, let's get to the side missions. And yeah, aside from the cool costume, the side missions for Prowler kinda suck. You have to go around looking for sound samples to create a beat called Sounds of the City. So you have to run around looking for a very specific item that makes a sound so you can sample it. And the final beat you make with it is this.
Use the sounds.
We are not making it out the hood with this. So yeah, the beat is pretty trash and the side missions are pretty boring. But like I said, you do get this cool costume and you get some cool lore about how Aaron and Jeff's relationship went south. Because Aaron is a thief and Jeff was a cop, their paths crossed a lot, and you know. And he got cut out the family because Jeff didn't want Miles to end up like him. And Jeff had to protect his family from criminal ties like Kingpin. And this cool lore perfectly leads into my final point on why Prowler is so great. And that is because he is the only villain in Spider-Man Miles Morales that's truly unique to this game. And it makes his writing a million times better because of that. In my Tinker analysis, I said that the worst parts of the Spider-Man Miles Morales game were the main story and villains, because they felt like a rehash of the first Spider-Man game, except they were a lot more rushed because of the game's shorter length, which resulted in a lot less polished writing, especially with the villains. But one thing I kind of neglected was one of the biggest strengths of Miles Morales, which Prowler embodies. The thing that makes Prowler work is that not only is he just a well-written character, but he's also the only villain in the entire game that's unique to this game. Krieger is just Norman but worse. The Tinkerer is just Doc Ock and Martin Lee but worse. And the Rhino is literally carried straight from the last game. But Prowler is unique to Miles Morales. And much like Miles as a character, when he stops trying to be like Peter's story, it makes him better because he's trying to do his own thing. And that's why Prowler is the best villain in Spider-Man Miles Morales. Thank you all so much for watching this video, it means a lot. Make sure to like and subscribe for more content like this if you enjoyed it. And by all means, go check out my Tinkerer video. I plan on doing more of this retrospective series with Miles Morales since I really enjoyed the game. And you guys enjoyed the first Tinkerer video. So stay on the lookout for more of these videos, as well as some of my other work, like my podcast Behind the Sketches. Don't forget to follow my socials to see more of my art and updates on future videos. Thank you all so much for watching once again. This has been 2DS Studios, and until next time, stay tuned and stay cool.